InsideThunder.com. Powered by iHeartMedia, Oklahoma City.
Nick, what's it like riding around with a free spirit like Steven Adams up in Seattle?
I really enjoy spending time with Steve. He's a very unique guy. He's different than anybody I play with, and he's a lot of fun to spend time with for sure.
Do you put last year, and I'm talking as a team, behind you, or do you take some things with you from that moving forward that might help you this season?
Well, I think we have to realize that we're not a good enough basketball team, or we weren't a good enough basketball team last year to do what we wanted to do. Of course, we had injuries, but I think everyone's excited to come into camp this year and have a better experience, and we know we have to get better at things and get our level of play to a higher place.
Nick, you've been through some coaching changes before in your career. What are your impressions of Billy?
He seems great. He's got a pretty good pulse, I think, of what's gone on with our team in the past. He's watched a lot of film. He's done a lot of work this summer, and I'm excited to get started and see what's new and get to work. It's been a long off season, and I think everybody's excited to get back.
Nick, is he an interesting combination of new and old, or young and old? Because he's always had a youthful sort of personality, but he's also coached major college basketball 20-something years. I notice he's got even gray around his temples today. I mean, is he a good mix from where you're sitting in terms of experience and newness and freshness?
Well, he's got a lot of energy. I can sense that already. I haven't spent a ton of time with him. We really won't know. I really won't know until we get into the season. But I think he's a real high-energy guy, and you're right, he's also very experienced. So, I feel like our organization does a good job of providing everything we need, and I think they do a lot of work in everything they do. So I assume the coaching change, they put a lot of work into that, and they feel good about him, and so I'm going to have faith in that. And like I said, I've had quite a few meetings with him already, and I like what he's talking about. So we'll see how it goes. It's like I said, like you said, I've had a lot of coaches before. So the one thing I've learned is you don't really know until you get into it. So we'll see how it goes.
You guys were really poker-faced about all the injuries and the situation you were dealt last year, but after the season, did you reflect on it ever and just kind of marvel at all the crap you guys did endure and the fact that you still finished 8 games over 500 in spite of it all?
It was a really unique situation. I've never been a part of a team that's had that many injuries, and it was difficult to deal with. Other than that, there's not much we could do about it. I think the one thing that we all need to just focus on is doing what we can to stay healthy and then really enjoy playing when we now that we have our guys back. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I think hopefully we'll have a new appreciation for having everybody, and hopefully we can avoid what happened last year in terms of injuries.
Nick, you still have a pretty young roster. You're the elder statesman. Will you be an assistant coach in any way? Will you talk to Ennis about defense and Steven Adams about offense or whatever?
Well, I still feel like I can play, so I'm still a player. I'm still one of the players. But of course, I always try to help when I can, and I've taken on that role more and more as I've gone on. I feel more comfortable doing that, and I think the most important thing though is that you lead by example, because you can't fool anybody. That we work so many days together, and the truth always comes out of who you are in the NBA. That's the good thing about it is. You play so many games, you have so many practices that your teammates will see who you are. So I've always felt like I've done the work myself, and I think that's the most important part. And I hope guys think I have an authentic approach to being a good teammate, and I hope they feel that, and I'll continue to do that. But yeah, I'll help when I can and do what I think is the best thing for our team.
You mentioned you played for a lot of different coaches, and you've been in the league a while now. This is the first camp where Scott Brooks has not been the head coach. We've been through all these different coaches. As a player, is that something you just move on from? Did you ever talk to Scott after it happened or anything like that? Or is that just part of the NBA life?
Well, I really appreciate what Coach Brooks did, and he is a great coach, and he was always fair with me and honest with me, and I had a lot of really good years playing for him. So I really enjoyed my time with him, and but I understand that things change sometimes, and those are decisions for the front office and ownership to make, and they've made theirs, and now I'll get to know a new coach. So I'm excited about it, and there will be things that'll be done differently. So it would be interesting to see what we do. But yeah, it's part of the league, and it hasn't happened. You know, Scotty was here a long time compared to most NBA coaches, 10 years. So, but it's something. When my first few years in the league, I changed coaches almost every year. I don't know. I should think about it. I should have thought about it before I came in here. I think I might have had 5 in 7 years or something like that. So I'm used to playing for different guys and knowing that it's going to be different. But ultimately, effort, concentration as a player, those are the most important things. There's a couple different ways you can guard different schemes, but I know like how to prepare as a player, and that stuff doesn't change.
I might be overstating this, but because the season ended a month or more earlier for you guys than it typically does, and there was no international tournament play for some of the guys, is there a chance y'all are coming in like way more refreshed and rested and energized maybe than you typically do?
I think so. The extra month is it's a bit of a bummer, obviously, when you're not playing, but I think it could be good for us, especially we have so many guys need to recover from things. I just know that I've been here 2 or 3 weeks, and there seems to be a much different energy for the start of the season. I think some of that has to do with what you're talking about, the longer layoff, and I think it does help that those guys, Kevin, Russell, the guys, Serge, that have played internationally in the past, didn't have a full slate. So yeah, everyone's excited to get back at it, and hopefully it'll translate to better play.
A couple more questions for me.
What would have to happen for this season to be considered a success for you guys?
I think it starts tomorrow, and our approach has to be the same as it's always been, because it really is the best way to get the best results, and that's to show up and do the work each day. And if you can string together a lot of great days, then we want to put ourselves to be the best possible team we can late in the season and make a run at winning a championship. And that's definitely the goal here, is to win a championship. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But as players, you can't get caught up in that on September 29th, which I think that'll be tomorrow. So you have to just focus on what are we doing today. And then, like I said, you string together enough of those days where you're totally engaged mentally and you have the energy. And then by the end of the season, you're in a place where you got a shot. But there's a lot of teams that are going to have a shot, and we'll deal with that when it comes.